All right, welcome. Today we are diving into something, well, something pretty wild. It's a theory that claims it can unify the laws of physics, the nature of consciousness, and the future of AI with just one single, elegant, logical framework. Yeah, I know. It's this incredibly ambitious attempt to basically build the entire pyramid of reality from the ground up, starting from one foundational point. So, let's start with a question that I'm sure you've noticed, something that's been bugging a lot of people. Why do our most advanced AIs, these large language models, sometimes just say things that are completely bonkers, hallucinate confident nonsense? Well, according to this theory, the answer to that question unlocks something fundamental, not just about machines, but about the very architecture of reality itself. And right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the problem. You see, current AI plays a probability game. For it, meaning is all about what's most likely to come next. It just smooths over any contradictions to find that path. But this new framework, it proposes something totally different. It says real meaning isn't about likelihood. It's about structural integrity. It's built on coherence and, crucially, on tension. And that leads us to the core flaw of the AI we have today. It basically lives in a flat world of meaning. And this isn't just some bug we can fix with more data. The theory argues it's a deep structural flaw, a kind of topological defect. This quote from the source material just nails it. In the flat statistical world of an AI, a logical contradiction, like saying something is both true and false at the same time, well, that's not a dead end. It's not a stop sign. It's just a path of slightly higher resistance. A little speed bump the model can easily hop over to keep talking. It can't truly say no to an illogical idea. It can only say it's less probable. Okay, so if current AI is flawed because it's missing these structural rules, what rules does reality itself play by? And this brings us to the big idea, the symbolic viability framework. The core concept here is that intelligence, real intelligence, isn't about predicting the next word. It's about maintaining structural integrity. And what if that's the one simple rule for everything? What if all of reality, from the tiniest quirks to the most complex ideas, is governed by this single principle? That local truths have to be able to glue together. Every piece has to fit into a single, globally consistent picture. No contradictions allowed. Now, there's actually a mathematical name for this rule of coherence. It's called a sheaf, but don't let the word scare you. Just think of it as reality's ultimate fact checker. It's the underlying mechanism the universe uses to make sure it doesn't contradict itself. It's the guarantee that all the local pieces of the puzzle can and will fit together into one, and only one, coherent picture. So, the big question is, how does the universe actually pull this off? How does it maintain all this coherence? Well, the theory proposes that everything that exists is built from just four fundamental operations. The source calls them gestures. So, gesture number one is emergence. This is the spark. It's the universe's capacity for pure creation, the introduction of something new, something totally unpredictable into the system. But as soon as that new thing appears, it's immediately met by an opposing force, memory. This is the drive for a form, whether it's a particle or an idea, to stay what it is, to resist change, to persist through time. And then you've got a third impulse, propagation. This is the drive to connect, to spread out and interact with other things, to build bigger, more complex systems. It's the universalizing force. Now, what happens when these three fundamental drives, novelty, stability, and connection, are all pulling against each other? Well, they don't always line up perfectly, and what's left over is residue. It's the structural friction, the unavoidable tension, and this right here is where it all gets really interesting. We've just laid out the basic building blocks, but here comes the big twist in the story. This theory argues that the most important gesture of them all isn't creation or stability. It's actually the mistake. So here's the crucial point. That leftover tension, that residue, that failure to make everything perfectly smooth and coherent, it's not a bug. It is the system. This theory proposes that this inherent imperfection is the very engine that creates all the complex structures we see in the universe. Reality exists because it can't be perfect, not in spite of it. And this is where the power of this idea just explodes. It's incredible. So that friction between memory, the impulse to stay put, and propagation, the impulse to spread out, well, that tension manifests in our reality as mass, inertia. And what about the failure to perfectly glue all the local perspectives into one seamless whole? That becomes gravity. That's what curves spacetime. And the most mind-blowing part, when this whole dynamic of tension and coherence becomes a self-sustaining, self-observing loop, you get consciousness, you get us. So you see, with this one single powerful idea of creative tension as our foundation, we can start to see the incredible ambition of this whole framework. It's trying to build a complete pyramid of all existence from that one single point. And the claim is that this one core principle, the constant need to manage this structural residue, can explain, well, everything. It can supposedly derive the standard model of particle physics from these gestural frictions. It explains Einstein's general relativity as the geometric price the universe has to pay to manage all this tension. It can even model the human mind and its disorders. And coming full circle, it gives us a blueprint for an AI that's structurally honest, one that understands what it means for things to actually cohere. This all leads us to a pretty profound place. The implications of a theory like this go way beyond physics or computer science. They force us to ask a really fundamental question about what it even means to exist. Because if any of this is true, it suggests a massive paradigm shift. It means the universe isn't fundamentally a collection of matter and energy just bouncing around randomly. No, it's fundamentally an active, ongoing process of maintaining its own structural coherence. The cosmos, in this view, is a universe of structure and meaning, constantly working to make sense of itself. And that leaves us with this final, striking question to ponder. If the entire architecture of reality, from the smallest particle to the human mind, is this dynamic process of maintaining its own logical consistency, if it's a kind of conversation with itself, then you have to wonder, what is it trying to say?